Hello, my name is Charlotte Schaffo, and this presentation is on my research paper, The Effect of Social Media on News Consumption, a review of the literature and survey results, shows how social media has affected news consumption and reporting. Traditional news sources are finding they have to use social media services such as Twitter, Facebook, and blogs to remain competitive and relevant. Social media has changed the dynamics of how news is accessed, reported, and spread. This report documents how social media has influenced the way news is reported by traditional media and consumed by the public. Since the beginning of recorded history, people have tried to spread news to others, from drawings on cave walls to the written word carved in stone and tablets, to oral storytellers and town criers, and other numerous methods with various degrees of success and accuracy have been used to give people their news. While news consumers for the last several centuries have relied on the printed word, the 20th century brought about news consumption in rapidly changing formats, from radio, television, and internet. The 21st century has changed the presentation of news even more, with ever-changing methods and means of access. Questions asked in this report were: does social media supplement or replace traditional news sources? How accurate is news from social media sites? Does news consumption by social media increase political knowledge? What are the behaviors of news consumers? Do they go to multiple online sites, forward news from emails, or get their news from a combination of on and offline sites? What are the demographics of social media news consumers? Does social media supplement or replace traditional news sources? The sources studied seem to concur that while news reporting has forever changed, traditional and social media both participate, share, and collaborate with each other to bring more news to more people. Social media has extended the traditional concepts of media into an interactive experience where the views of many can be expressed and widely spread. People are no longer just news consumers. Social media has made consumers themselves into mass media providers who do not rely solely on traditional news outlets. Many recent stories, such as the Arab uprising, the Hudson River plane crash, and others, were force reported by social media, not traditional news outlets. Reporters not only incorporate social media into their stories, they use it to reach out and enhance their stories by discovering news they might not otherwise have access to, along with sources they had never considered before. This has given traditional journalists the ability to reinvent the way they gather news. Columnist Peggy Noonan notes that people believe nothing. They think everything is spin and lies, and when people believe nothing, they will believe anything. With Google estimating that every 2 days more data is produced than from recorded time to 2003, the accuracy of information is paramount in getting people to trust the news, whether from traditional or news sources. Several of the studies reviewed show that trust in the accuracy of news reported on social media sites was important in how consumers decided to access those sites for their news consumption. Internet users in general tended to be more trusting than others, with Facebook users showing the most trust. The consensus of the literature reviewed on social media accuracy was that most people still relied on traditional media to give in-depth reporting and felt it was more accurate, yet news recommended by friends or other trusted sources was supplementing overall news knowledge. Study findings consistently showed those who used news media, both traditional and social media sites, had a higher level of political knowledge. Use of social media has been shown to help increase political knowledge, and what social media seems to excel at is allowing access to the political process, engaging people as never before in the politics that affect their lives. Facebook users were discovered to be more politically engaged than other social media users of similar age and education, while LinkedIn users were the most likely to have attended a political rally. MySpace users were the least politically involved. And recent studies have found that Americans consume their news in a variety of ways, and most do not access it by one method. Fewer than 7% of respondents in one national survey reported that they got their news from a single news outlet. Almost half reported getting daily news from 4 to 6 places a day. And news access is one of the most important activities people listened when questioned on their social media use. The vast majority of mobile device users surveyed listed news access as the top activity they engaged in on their devices. News consumers who use mobile devices also participated more in the actual creation of news. Far from replacing old technology, new devices such as tablets and smartphones encourage multi-platform news gatherings. In fact, the heaviest consumers of news use all the major media platforms for news: computers, smartphones, tablets, and print. The use of social media has doubled since 2008, and much of that increase is in the over 35 range group, making them over half of all adult social network users, with women making up the majority of social media users overall, comprising over 52% of email users and 55% of instant messenger users. Along with the literature review, a survey of my associates' news consumption was conducted to compare the results with national surveys. A questionnaire was decided upon as the best way to gather information from associates who are both local and long distance. All the questions had multiple choice answers. No questions asked the respondent to formulate a response. The results generally mirrored national survey and study results. The consensus of the research was that while it appears social media will not replace traditional media anytime soon, it has dramatically changed how people obtain, process, and disseminate their news. Social media is supplementing traditional news, and the way people access their news will never be the same. Social media use and user-generated news has influenced the path of journalism. Each participant in the news consumption process needs to understand their place in a new world that did not previously exist and be ready to change at any time. If you want to research the information shown in this presentation, here are my references. I look forward to your questions. Thank you.